It is hot. It is a humid day, everyone. It's a humid day here at Needle Drop HQ. I hope all of y'all are doing well. It is time for another edition of our weekly track Roundup, where I go over what I felt were the worst and the best tracks of the week. I'm doing it moist, so let's get into it. All right. First, of course, I want to shout out the sponsors for this video. Good people over at The Ridge. They make these nifty metal-plated wallets that fit nicely in your front pocket. Join the minimalist wallet revolution today with the greatest minimalist wallet salesman in the world. Use the link down below, promo code MELON, 10% off. Also, we have our Amazon and Turntable Lab associate links down there too, if you want to use those. And let's get straight into the worst tracks of the week. We have a few. And we have a lot more tracks that I thought were in the best category. This is a very big week. A lot of tracks dropped, and there are a lot of songs I loved this week, and I'm going to highly recommend a lot of tracks to you. So pay attention, and remember, all of these tracks are linked down below so you can try them for yourselves. Okay, so first song in the worst category ended up being, this new Miley Cyrus track, Slide Away. The beat on this track is trash. Garbage percussion on this track. It sounds really cheap, sounds thrown together. It came off as if Miley had written a ballad and came up with all this really glamorous, lavish instrumentation to accompany it, and then after the fact it was like, okay, we need to add a beat. There needs to be some kind of pulse to this thing, so let's just throw a few drums behind it that sound like Ish, and we'll just leave it at that. Did not care for it. Did not care for it at all. Not looking forward to her new EP, to say the least. Also thought a lot of the lyrics on this track, just the way that Miley addresses addiction to me is just very shallow. There are much more compelling songs out there about such things and partying and substance abuse that I would much rather listen to. We also have this new track from Lightning Bolt, one of my favorite noise rock acts of all time. They have a new album on the way. Wasn't super crazy about their last record, but thought they might bounce back with a brand new project. The teaser song over here, Air Conditioning, is super plain for a Lightning Bolt song. Compositionally, the vocals are way more clean than I would have liked them to be, and on top of it, the worst thing about this track, truly and honestly, is and I assume this will be different when I actually hear the entire record and it hits streaming services, but what is the sound quality of this song on Bandcamp? It's on Bandcamp. I can't really find it anywhere else right now. I'm not hearing it anywhere else other than Bandcamp, and it sounds like the nastiest, most disgusting, lowest resolution MP3 that they could muster, just uploaded onto Bandcamp. The cymbals and the guitar distortion, or rather the bass distortion, because Lightning Bolt is drums and bass, the bass distortion sound awful. They kind of melt into each other in a really wishy-washy way that you would get out of like a 96K MP3. It sounds like garbage. Let's hear a higher quality version of this, please. Girl band, a lot of people have been hyping this record, and a few of the teaser tracks from it up. I myself have enjoyed some of the band's earlier material. This new one over here, Shoulder Blades, does have elements of genres that I enjoy. There are some elements of industrial, some elements of noise rock. You could say that it moves slowly and broods and throbs in the way maybe even a Daughter's song might. However, I feel like girl band really, just like with their last record, does not push the intensity of their performances far enough so that what they're doing is actually thrilling. It's like they're just always setting a tone, and it never really reaches that climax point that truly makes all of these darker spots the track kicks off with worth it. So, yeah, just not really that deeply into it. Girl band, in my view, just has this common problem of coming up with some interesting ideas and just letting them stagnate in the song to the point where they become uninteresting, where they really shouldn't be, because I do think they do draw up some compelling sounds and do go into some dark spaces with their music, but it's like they just don't go far enough. It's like they dip their toes and turn back. Moving on from there, also we have the song from Boris over here, Love. This will be the last song in here, and yes, this is a Boris track. The Japanese everything band. I mean, they've done everything from drone doom to pop music at this point. This new one over here does see the band going into doomier and dronier territory, though. But, however, the vocals they laid all over this track are terrible. I cannot even stand to listen to it for more than a few minutes. I mean, I love the guitar sound, and I love what maybe conceptually the band is trying to pull off here, but the way they work the vocals into this track is absolutely unbearable. I could not get through it. And I don't know. I am curious to see where exactly the band goes with their newest effort here. Maybe there will be other songs along these lines that end up panning out, but I cannot say I was a fan of this one, truly and honestly. All right, moving on to the tracks that I thought were a little underwhelming, but still worth pointing out, still worth shouting out. You might dig them a little bit more than me. We have this new collaborative cut over here between Girl Talk and Young Nudy. No problem. It is a trap banger if you like Young Nudy's rapping, which I'm not typically a big fan of. I'm usually more of a fan of Girl Talk's work, and the beat does go hard on this one. You'll most likely like it. You know, again, beat bangs, and if you're a Young Nudy fan, you will dig it. We also have some thrash, some crossover thrash from Toxic Holocaust, who have not come out with a record in a while. Primal Future 2019 is the name of this new one, and this track over here, Chemical Warlords, is a dystopian, badass, riff-heavy, fast-paced thrash rager with a bit of an old-school sheen on it. Sleater-Kinney have come out with a new track. Their new album is officially out. You know, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm going to try to review their latest LP here, produced by St. Vincent, of all people. Gonna try to give this album a review this week, and I'm not going to go too deeply into my thoughts on this, as you'll be hearing my full opinions on this new record very soon. Also, Cha-Ching, latest single from pop artist Sleater. It is a little goofy. Some of the lyrics are ridiculous and worth an eyebrow raise or two, but the beat does go hard, and obviously it's trying to be playful. I mean, if you want to hear a colorful banger about money that's not trying to take itself too seriously, give it a try. Give it a shot. Moving on from there, Shura, Forever Her is the name of her new record. It is out now this week. I haven't been super head over heels for a lot of the dreamy synth pop sounds coming out of this record, but I know there are some people in my audience who kind of go for that sort of thing. This latest song over here, Skyline Be Mine, is an incredibly lavish cut with lots and lots and lots of lush layers of instrumentation. If you love your ballads to be slow burners and kind of grow in a very slow progression and reach a pretty enveloping, euphoric climax, give this track a try. I mean, I didn't find a lot of the synth tones or the vocals to be all that distinct, but I have to admit the progression and the final moments of the track are pretty pillowy and beautiful. Moving on from there, we have a new cut from Rosalia and Ozuna, a collaborative song. Oops, well, hit the desk over there. That's some pretty glossy, sensual reggaeton with some tasteful instrumentation on it. I didn't think the hook hit all that hard, but still, vocals, instrumental, incredibly tasteful. And if you want to vary up your listening this week with a bit of, again, a reggaeton, worldly pop, then give it a shot. Moving on from there, legendary shoegazy outfit Ride. They are back with a new song. This one over here is a very light piece of dreamy rock music that passes by at a pretty breezy pace. Nothing all too gripping. In This Room is the name of the song. You know, give it a shot if you're nostalgic for this era, if you're just looking to keep up with groups that are still putting out music from that time. And we also have NIKI of 88 Rising fame, who has a new collaborative cut out with 88 Rising. The name of this new one over here is Indigo, and it's a cool little blend of pop music and R&B music with a banger beat attached to it. Her vocals over this instrumental are pretty sweet and elegant. I would say that the track really does lack a bit of an edge, though. You know, I think it could have had a stronger instrumental. I think that her vocal performance at some points could have been a bit stronger too. I think the beat is a bit zany without doing too much in terms of really taking a risk. It's busy. It's very busy. It hits hard. It's bassy. It's very percussive. But I don't know. There was something about it that just felt like it was holding back a little bit, you know, and I did tend to enjoy a lot more of the intimate songs that did land on NIKI's last EP. However, if she does transition into more rhythmic and more pop influenced sounds like she's pursuing on this new single over here, it could be good. Could be a good change of pace for her. And Exhumed, famed death metal, gore grind, crossover, thrash. They've done a lot of things over the course of their career, which has been very long. They have a new record on the way, track out, another dose of thrash, essentially, on this new track over here, as this is one of their songs, one of their records that seem like they're in more of a nostalgic thrash tone. The name of this one over here is Ravenous Cadavers. So kind of like that B-movie thrash music here. You're going to dig on this one. And Chelsea Wolfe has come through with another music video and ballad from her forthcoming LP. And yeah, at this point, I would say it's pretty much been confirmed. This is going to be an acoustic record. This is going to be a ballad-based acoustic album, which is, again, not necessarily a bad thing. Chelsea has made acoustic music before that I have enjoyed and reviewed positively. However, I would say what kept me back on this track, though, is that I thought the song at the core of it was really underwhelming. Not really a track I found myself humming or entranced or enticed by in any sort of way. I did love some of the grand swells of instrumentation that hit at pivotal points of the song. That certainly sounded awesome. That felt great. But as far as Chelsea's vocals and the guitar chord progression, it just fell very flat for me. Just fell very flat. And we also have another single from the new upcoming Charli XCX record. She's been dropping a lot of singles with collaborators to kind of bring forward the buzz, raise the profile, get more people interested. This latest one over here features Ferreira. It's a bit of a clunky tune, maybe a song that in the context of the record could grow on me a lot more. You know, it's definitely not as powerful or as immense as the Christine and the Queens track. That was amazing. That was a showstopper. That was like a religious fucking experience. This one over here, not quite as much, but again, even if there were some elements of it that did underwhelm me, I think that it's a track I could see myself liking a little bit more once the record's finally out, potentially. And let's get into the tracks that I thought were the best tracks of the week. There are quite a few. Kicking off over here with this song from Flewids featuring Sylvan, LaCue, two rappers that are kind of coming together on a futuristic jazz rap vibe. They are spitting fast, melodic flows. The performances are incredible. I've been looking for LaCue to drop a new record, but his feature here is very awesome. And I don't know, I guess through this I'm going to be keeping track of Flewids as well, because I enjoyed this quite a bit. It was a tasteful song with great vocal chemistry. And we also have... this guy's a bit of a new find here. Someone online turned me on to his music. He goes by the name... Excuse me here, but this is his name. This is his stage name, okay? Excuse me. This is the man's stage name. This is his artist moniker, but he goes by the name of Wetbackmanny, and he has a song out by the name of Fuck Ice 2. And I really don't know what to tell you. It's a banger. It's a banger, man. It's a banger. It's got those awesome violins worked, or fiddles worked into the instrumental. It's got that that Houston beat. It's a real Tex-Mex mix. You know what I mean? And Manny's lyrics are hilarious. He's just like bringing that fuck ice energy, which is exactly what I think we need right now, frankly. All right, moving on from there. Vivian Girls. The noise rock, noise pop trio Vivian Girls, they are back. A new record on the way, Memory. You guys should know by now. They've been broken up or disbanded for a little while, but it seems like they're back at it musically. And this is not the first song they've dropped from this forthcoming record, but I've enjoyed this one as well. Something to Do is the name of it. And this to me is pretty much along the same lines as the last song. And what I liked so much about the last track is that it pretty much embodied the sweet, noisy, somewhat abrasive, and I guess kind of lackadaisical vibe that made the band's debut album so cool, so enjoyable, so fun. So just making you want to get up and bounce around. Digging this one quite a bit. Digging it quite a bit. Here we go. We also have, Tkay Maidza. Maidza. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Tkay Maidza. She is an Australian rapper who I've been conscious of for quite some time. Liked some songs off her last LP, which actually I think Killer Mike was on that record. She has a new single out featuring JPEGMAFIA. And this song over here is essentially about, I identify with it very deeply, not being all that good at sleeping, being up late, being a bit of a night owl, maybe even an insomniac. I don't know. But it's a banger, man. The beat is awesome. Tkay has one of her best vocal performances I've heard so far. Having JPEGMAFIA on this track was a genius move. I love that Peggy is doing so many collaborations. He's finding himself in so many different contexts these days. He's in high demand, and I love that. I love that he's answering the call. I love that he's giving great performances here. I love that he's bringing his energy to this track, and I love that Tkay herself seems to be leveling her music up, because this is a crazy-ass song that I think more people need to hear. You know, this should be everybody's, you know, if you're on the internet, if you're on social media, and like midnight or 1 a.m. hits, you should see people posting this song in every fucking direction. Here's my jam. It's 2 a.m. It's 3 a.m. It's 4 a.m. I haven't gone to sleep yet. Here's my jam. This is my jam. I'm awake. That's what I'm saying. It's the awake anthem. It's the awake anthem. Taylor Swift has dropped the title track to her new full-length album, Lover. I did a full-length review of it over on the Fantano channel, and I actually enjoyed it. I liked it. It was a sweet ballad. It was a tasteful instrumental with a beautiful climactic finish. There were some underwhelming parts at the start, sure, but it was a nice mix of guitar and piano and drums and vocals, and Taylor just kind of flexing those singer-songwriter muscles one more time. I don't anticipate too many more tracks like this on her new full-length album, but I can at least tell you that I enjoyed this one. We also have a few new tracks, 2 more tracks from the forthcoming Sandy Alex G album, Southern Sky and Near. One's a great ballad. The other goes into more of an electronic and an experimental direction, embodying some of the weirder sounds and ideas that Alex G fans have been enjoying on his records up until this point. It's kind of interesting because I thought that he would avoid ideas like this now that his music seems to be a bit cleaner and more conventional, but I'm glad that he's not entirely abandoning some of these more abstract ideas, working them into his particular brand of lo-fi pop and singer-songwriter music. So, yeah, liking that, digging it, definitely anticipating the new Alex G. I know people were kind of mad that I didn't dig his last full-length LP, but frankly, I didn't think the record went far enough. I think what he's delivering here is much better. All right, we also have Michael Kiwanuka, who is back. I did enjoy some of the songs from his last full-length LP. I think the guy's a talented singer and a talented songwriter. And this new song over here kind of throws it back. It feels like a classic 70s soul tune, but the instrumentation is far too odd. It's got an old school production sheen on it. It sounds very vintage, but the lyrics, the vocal melody, and some of the instrumental passages and ideas sound very modern and sound very out there. And I don't know. I think it's an unconventional tune, but still has a chance for a pretty wide appeal because it is so unique, and it is pretty beautiful, and it is pretty stunning. Shout out to Michael for continuing to do his thing. We also have Mr. Mark Kozelek, who is out with another track. He is essentially in this new song of his reflecting upon the recent string of mass shootings that have rocked America, have been all over the news. Mark, as you guys may know up until this point, is not shy when it comes to addressing current events and going on about them in these lengthy, endless, diatribe-like diatribes just set to song. And I thought that this latest track over here, Where's Gilroy, is one of his better as of late in this very rambly, long-winded style. It's a 15-minute track. He goes over a lot of different passages, thematic passages, musical passages. It's a long, multifaceted song, not catchy in any respect, more of a meditation than anything. But in my view, if you are a Kozelek fan, if you've been following his stuff up until this point, still very compelling. Still very compelling. All right, we also have this new song over here from Kitten, Memphis, brand new single. And this is one of the more, I guess, sweet and catchy tracks the band has dropped in a while. It's a bit of an oddball song for them. It's sort of dreamy, a little nostalgic, feels like some alternative rock mixed with pop, with some pretty pillowy instrumentation and production. A lot of vocals that are spoken, very subdued. I would say there's something about the track, and maybe this is a bit of a mark against it, that feels like it's trying really hard. It's pandering to an audience as it's trying to be as relatable as possible, and really hit audiences with this like sense of nostalgia for an era that many of them may have not really lived through or even been that conscious through as a very young child. But still, I mean, despite the weird Avril references and the geographical placements that try to give the song a sense of place that just seem like a little too obvious or on the nose, I still thought it was a smart, playful, catchy track that definitely shows the band kind of veering outside of their comfort zone a little bit. So I did like that. Thought it was a good song. It's down below with every other track. Give it a try. Give it a shot. We also have over here this brand new song from Mr. JPEGMAFIA. Peggy is back. Damn, Peggy, you think you know me? Yes, I did a full-length review of this one as well. Excuse me, over on the Fantano channel too. And beat on this one is insane. Peggy's sung vocals on this track as I itch my nose because I am a sweaty mess. I'm a sweaty, disgusting mess right now. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty. Peggy's sung vocals on this track are insane. His bars are hard as hell. I already said the beat stuck out, but it is weird AF. I'm definitely digging what Peggy is starting to deliver. I'm determined not to be disappointed with this new full-length album, and I say that because Peggy's been kind of teasing to it by saying disappointment, gonna be disappointed. It's a clever marketing scheme. I like it. All right, we also have Jenny Hval, whose latest material has been impressing me more and more and more and more. New record on the way, and this track over here is a wonderful, throbbing, electronic, driving, meditative, forward moving piece of art pop with some vocals that are just otherworldly, in my opinion. A great atmosphere, a great groove, hypnotic, mystical, and I don't know, just seems like there's some kind of special magic about it that I can't quite explain. I like it quite a bit. We also have this new Adult Swim single from Freddie Gibbs and Madlib featuring Oh No, with some guest production on this thing from professionals. It's a great little track. Obviously, not a song that made the latest Freddie Gibbs and Madlib project, but still, I thought it was good. Give it a try. If you liked Bandana, you're going to like this. Also, what we have over here is a brand new song from the experimental hip-hop outfit known as Clipping. The latest song over here is titled Nothing Is Safe, and from the promotional material along with the song and from the release date of the album in October, it sounds like a Halloween song. It's a Halloween scary story rap song. It's Are You Afraid of the Dark? Sort of experimental hip-hop style. David Diggs comes through with some pretty creative flows in order to fit the entire story into the song. I will say that I think the tune of the track suffers a little bit because he does try to pack a lot into the song. It's really the story that's driving everything. And this instrumental is not nearly as experimental as one may expect a clipping instrumental to be, because in a lot of respects, it's a pretty straightforward trap progression. However, there are some old school synths worked in. There is a great swell of those on the choruses. There is something about the instrumental that to me sounds very, very John Carpenter. So bit of a trap vibe, bit of a John Carpenter vibe, topped with a horrifying story involving death and a lot of blood and guts. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing because you can read into it as you listen to the track yourself, but it is relatively riveting, and I'm wondering if the ideas here are going to expand into a whole new album. Will the entire album be horror-based or inspired? I don't entirely know, but I do know that the prospect of that, I think the prospect of that would be interesting. Next, we have Boye, brand new track from Brockhampton. and liked this one quite a bit as well. Not going to get too deeply into it as the new Brockhampton record is coming out very soon, but I thought that the instrumental was creative, vocal and lyrical chemistry there. Definitely enjoying what I'm hearing and glad to see that the band are hitting a bit more of a stride with these promotional tracks. Here we also have a new track from Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes fame, new solo album on the way. He Loves Me, if I remember correctly, is the name of this new track over here. And what struck me the most about this new song over here is that the beat is absolutely huge, bassy, gigantic. I would say a lot of the mixing placements in the song are odd, but it doesn't ruin the track. It just kind of makes it a bit of a unique experience. And even though there is like lots of heavy percussion, lots of heavy bass, it's an odd sound, Brittany's vocals still shine through, and it's still a really great song at the end of the day. So Brittany Howard continuing to prove herself as a phenomenal talent. Here we also have Big Thief, Not. Two Hands, latest record. They are dropping a new album sooner rather than later. You guys may still be burned over the last Big Thief review that I did, and that is totally fine. You don't have to agree. However, I did like this new single from them quite a bit. I thought that the lead vocals had a lot more kind of frustration to them and a lot more bite to them than some of the stuff that was on the last full-length LP. I thought that the raw performance between the drums and the guitars on this track were really enjoyable too. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not expecting a new leaf being turned here or anything, but if it's a different album, I'll most likely have a different take on it. So, still not counting out Big Thief or anything. I think they have some good stuff here and there, and this song is certainly impressing me. So, I think it's a great ballad, a lot of angular guitars and very odd vocals on it, which just kind of draws attention to how unique the song is. Yeah, not really anything negative to say about this track. Liking it a lot. We also have Alex Cameron, who has dropped another new single, and this is the first track from his latest full-length album that I'm actually enjoying, and it's mostly because the production is not trash. The production is not trash. There's not like a weird, out-of-place, badly produced and mixed and sequenced beat hanging in the background pointlessly. This one has a good, classy, classic, soft pop rock instrumental that Alex has kind of built his name off of. Not that I think the guy should be doing the same thing forever, but it's like some of those more electronic elements he was working into those other tracks. Not that that couldn't be done well, they could, but they were executed and inserted in a very ham-fisted way that just made the tracks difficult to listen to. This one over here not only comes along with a better instrumental, but it's actually a pretty cool concept, as Alex is telling a story about a woman, I guess, who is in control of her own sexuality, sexual destiny, uses sex as, I guess, her profession. He's talking about her doing porn again and this, that, and the other thing, but he's kind of framing it in a very empowering way. It's all about love and respecting workers of all types at the end of the day, even sex workers. And I dug the song quite a bit. Thought it had a good theme, thought lyrically it was as clever as usual as you can typically expect from Cameron, even when the song or the instrumental is not so hot. And on this one, it just happened to be that the instrumental was hot too. So, and I think that is going to be the weekly track roundup for this week, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I know it was a lot of songs. I know it was a lot of tracks, a lot of recommendations, but still, we did have a lot of songs this week that were worth talking about, worth mentioning. And all of them, once more, are linked down below, along with the link to our sponsor, good people over at The Ridge. You already know. All right. You're the best, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. I will talk to you in the next video, next review, next weekly track roundup episode. Anthony Fantano, Tracks Forever.